Hey guys, so today we are going to answer a subscriber question, and the question in question was, Frederick, I am the only front-end developer on my project and I don't have any peers and I don't have any seniors that can teach me how to become better. What should I do? So let's get into it. Now, it's actually funny because I wrote back to this subscriber and I kind of explained that is a very similar situation to which I've found myself in through so far in my career. And it is also, well, I feel very fortunate because I've been in this situation before, and I've also been on the other side of it where I actually have a senior working alongside with me. And there is a world of difference when you work as a single person versus working together with someone in a collaborative environment, especially if that person is, more experienced than you are. Now, unfortunately, for this viewer, I kind of have to tell you, and this is what I said as well, the unfortunate situation is that you very often will find yourself in this sort of position where you will be the only front-end developer if you are a full-time professional, just in general, because the ratio is usually exactly that. There's usually one front-end developer to a team of several back-end developers. And when it comes to hiring new people, it's even harder because finding someone who has over 5 years of JavaScript development, just off the bat, is a difficult task. And if you are going to find someone who is good at it at the same time, that is even harder. There's tons of people in comparison who know JavaScript, but they are not used to working at, let's say, call it serious projects, like large-scale application development. So what can you do? Well, all I can really say is that I can only really share what I did. And basically, the key thing to take away here is that it is a false assumption that you will not grow unless you have a JavaScript peer or a senior working alongside you. Now, just let me explain here. So the question in of itself has to do with a fear of not developing, like not getting better at your craft. That's the question that this person is fundamentally asking. And you see, when I was in this situation, when I was working as an island, I very quickly realized that if just in general, I can tell you that isolation is the thing that's going to kill your personal growth. Now, what I mean by that is that it's not necessary for you to have specifically a front-end senior working next to you or having a peer of some sort that is a specialist in front-end. Because just by having personal investment and taking personal initiative, you are going to develop those skills. What is important is that you are in a collaborative environment. You see, this is one of the hardest things for freelancers some of them struggle quite a bit when it comes to breaking into the industry, because you accumulate experience, but as long as you are working as an island, you will not gain these subtle experiences that you gain from working as part of a team. Similar things happen to consultants who work completely alone, because when you work completely alone, guys, you will not develop as fast as you will if you have a collaborative environment with other developers, because that's kind of the way that you develop a skill set. Just in general, you need to listen to other people. I mean, Googling things or going on to newsletters and having people share their ideas and their experiences, that's the way that you learn. And that's true for the work environment as well. Now, for me, I had a situation like this at my first job, and I realized very quickly that this is going to be very destructive. Working in this isolated fashion is going to be extremely destructive to my personal development. So I joined a company where I became the front-end specialist, if you will. But I had an environment of people around me where all of them were seniors, been working for several years. They were extremely good at what they were doing. I was fortunate enough later to actually have the company hire somebody who was even more experienced within front-end development than myself. So I got to see both sides of this. But what I can tell you is that although the experience was extremely educational and extremely valuable to me, and I learned quite a lot from this front-end senior, I learned as much, and probably some of the most important lessons that I've ever learned from a software developer came from one of my senior backend coworkers. And I learned tons and tons of useful things from my quality assurance, my QA, and my Scrum Master, just from being in that environment. And this is what I've said in a few videos before. The important thing, especially if you are just starting out, is to have the right environment. Because if you have a collaborative environment where you work as a part of a team, you will grow not just as a software developer, you're going to grow as a human being. Because collaborating with people is the way that you really, really, propel your career and your own learning experiences forward. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you are in a situation where you are working in complete isolation, you need to change that immediately, because working all by yourself all the time is going to be very destructive to your personal development as a software developer. It is vital that you have peers somehow. You need to have some type of collaborative environment, and if you don't, try to fix that, because that's the important part. And secondly, remember that it's not, as long as you have a genuine interest in the development process, you will be able to learn things from pretty much anybody you work with. But the key thing here is that you have that environment at work where talking to your coworkers and collaborating and sharing ideas is encouraged. If you don't have that, that's the fundamental problem, and that's the thing you need to be aware of. Have a great day.